This tutorial is part of our full-stack React Django DRF channels project, DJ Chat. You can watch this tutorial and many more from our YouTube course playlist, or the whole course, including access to additional resources from our Udemy course. The Udemy course link, which provides the best price for the course, is in the video description. Configuring environment variables is an important step in modern software development. Now, there are many different approaches to manage sensitive information in your project. Environment variables is one approach. So what we're going to be doing here is separating sensitive configuration data from our code base. By doing this, we are trying to make our application more secure and easier to manage across different environments. Although it may not seem relevant at the moment, it is important, like I said, to think about security even at this early stage of our development. As we are working through this project, we need to determine which values need to be stored or which values are potentially going to be secret or sensitive information that we don't want to expose in our code base. So let's just imagine this. We're building an application here, and we go ahead and in the settings here, so DJ Chat settings, we have settings, for example, a database. Now, at the moment, we're just utilizing an SQLite database, which doesn't require a username and password. But eventually, we probably want to upgrade that to a Postgres database or a MySQL database. Now, that's going to require us to actually type here the username and password in order to access that database resource. The problem of leaving such sensitive information here in our code base is that anyone who accesses our code base can then access this sensitive information, for example, in this case, the database username and password. So once we have identified the values that need to be stored as environment variables, we can then go ahead and create the configuration file or script that sets up these values for our application. And that's what we're going to do in this tutorial. The environment variable, the actual variable that we set, is going to be stored in the operating system. And we're going to access that within our application. By following this type of approach, it means that we're not typing in clear text username and passwords within our code base. And therefore, we're providing an extra layer of security. Anyone who may access our code base will not be able to view in clear text the username and passwords or any other sensitive data. We're going to set up our environment variables using python.env. That's the plan. So let's go ahead and pip install this first. So just make sure you're in the right folder. Type in ls to make sure I'm in the DJ Chat folder. If you're not, remember cd is going to allow you to change directory. If you want to go down a folder, or if you want to go into the folder, just type in the name of the folder you want to change into. If you want to go back up a folder, so if you're inside of a folder, say DJ Chat here, and you want to move back into the top directory, then just type in cd .. and that's going to take you back up a folder. Right, so let's go ahead and pip install python.env. Let's do that first. While we're working locally, we're going to create a new file here in DJ Chat called .env. This is where we're going to store our key values. So we need to now work out what we're going to store in here. Now, I already mentioned that in settings, we could, when we move over to, for example, Postgres database, we will probably need to then define a username and password, and that would be a good candidate to be used as an environment variable. Now, if you go up to the top here, we have the secret key. The secret key is a critical component of Django's security model used for generating secure tokens and cookies. Needless to say, we need to keep your secret key secret, so it should be backed up. But in addition to that, we potentially want to move this information over to our environment variable. So I'm going to copy that, go over to my environment variable file, and I'm going to just paste that in there so we can see that is there. What we're not going to need here is we're not going to need the single double quotes. So there we go. Now this secret key that has been generated, this was generated when we created a new project. Now you can go ahead and change that if you like, but you don't have to. But what is important is that this secret key is completely unique and we try to secure it as best as possible. If someone were to gain access to our secret key, they could potentially impersonate our applications, users, or perform other malicious actions. Something else that we can move to the environment variables is the debug value. Now, Django debug mode is a powerful tool that can help you diagnose and fix issues in our application during development. Now, when debug mode is enabled, Django will provide detailed error messages, stack traces, and other debugging information when an error occurs in our application. While debug mode can be extremely helpful during development, it can also be a security risk if your application is deployed. So we want to make sure that this is turned off when we deploy our application. That seems a good reason enough to move this over to the environment variables. So just to ensure and secure the fact that no one can potentially turn that on when in production. So we'll move that over to environment variables for now. So here, if you like, we're just simulating the idea that these are the environment variables that have been set up for our application. Now, having done that, we now need a way of accessing environment variables. So we have already installed an application previously to help us actually access environment variables. So let's go ahead and bring that in. Now, I'm going to just get rid of some of this additional documentation. I'm not going to need that. Right, so what we're going to do here then is just set this up so that we can access our new environment variables. So let's go ahead and we're going to need some resources. So import OS, so the OS tools, and then we're from .env. Let's go ahead and import load.env. Right, so we need to make a new or instantiate .env. So load.env. There we go. So now we can go ahead and make changes to secret key and debug to access our new environment variable. So environ.get, and then now we need to access the environment variable. Remember here we've got key value, so we're going to access the value via the key. So we type in the key there, secret key, and then we can do the same thing again for the debug. So let's give that a go. So that should be called debug. There we go. So we can now access the environment variables in that way. So we can test to see this if this is working. So open up your terminal here. What we can do is, well, first of all, let's just go back into secret key. What we're going to do is we're just going to remove this. Let's just completely remove the secret key. So I'm just going to comment that out for now. So let's go ahead and try and start our Django application. I'm pressing up on my keyboard until I get to the command, or I can just type it in. But this is the command that's going to start our application. So if I do that, you can see that the application still starts. Now, if I go back into my browser, let's just type in what we need. So 127.0.0.1:8000. So you can see here that I'm told there is an error and I need to contact the administrator. So that's just telling me that the secret key hasn't been configured correctly. So now we can test out to see if it has been configured correctly with this new setup. So I press save there. I'm just going to, I don't need to, but I'm just going to restart the server. So Control C to close, and then going to press up, run the server again. Let's go back to the browser. So let's refresh the browser, and there we go. Django is working successfully. So that's just telling me the fact that these settings are being applied correctly. So in summary, configuring environment variables for your project is an important step in modern software development, as I previously mentioned. So we separated sensitive configuration data from our code base, and this will make our application more secure and potentially easier to manage across different environments. When you finally go ahead and deploy your application, you will need to seek out the approach for that particular environment, how to actually set the environment variables.